like, in terms of like the cancel culture, in terms of like guilty before proven innocent, I completely hate it. Like, I'm not even the biggest fan of the Me Too movement because I just feel like it creates an environment for females to lie about potential sexual assault. And I kind of have the same stance in terms of like people accusing people online about certain things without like proof. So that's like my point on it. Like, I'm just not here for it. Like, unless there's been a police report that we can see and read, then calm. But if you're just putting it out there in the atmosphere, there's no proof, there's nothing.
Yeah. Trauma is trauma.
It's trauma, I understand that. But what you need to understand is that this whole like believe victim at all costs is BS. I know it's going to be problematic me saying this, but I'm saying it in the sense of like, we pretend that people do not lie, and people don't do things for clout. So this kind of energy like, believe all victims, believe all women, believe anyone that says anything about anyone. When people lie, you can destroy someone's life by lying online, and you know automatically everyone's going to believe you because, oh, I'm a victim, so you must believe me. And that's just not the case. You've ruined somebody's life and you lied.
I agree.
It's problematic. I'm sorry, I just don't like it.
And do you know what's funny? When you look at like Chris Brown and Rihanna, Rihanna openly admitted she started hitting Chris Brown. Chris Brown reacted, but his punishment was way worse. He was killed by the media. Rihanna's career went on to thrive.
But look at the degree of how badly.
But hold. Abuse is abuse, right?
Right.
Women will do that. Men, we're more prone to being physically violent. Everyone knows that about most men. Women can push a man to the edge of the earth and men will hold back. Chris Brown should have held back, but Rihanna knew what she was doing. She could play on that. Another example is Cardi B. She openly admitted to drugging men and stealing from them. If a man said he did that, women would kill him. But hold up. Rick Ross. Rick Ross got his Reebok deal cancelled because he said that he popped a Molly in the drink and she was sweating. Date rape drugs. Everyone went on at him for that. Michael Jackson, you know, the whole case.
But I don't like that though. The whole Michael Jackson is just some BS. That man is dead. Like, don't do that.
Charlamagne.
Don't be talking about Uncle Charlamagne.
Yeah, but the people that were affected are still alive.
No. I'm sorry, he lost case, so therefore it didn't happen.
He pleaded guilty.
No, he didn't. Charlamagne divorced.
He pleaded guilty.
No, he didn't.
A lot of the things that were very undeniable. The child could describe when his birthmark on his penis was.
You don't remember the actual? Basically,
I'm so sorry, but when it comes to children, it's a bit sticky.
Instead of a girl's drink, which drugged them and they didn't know what to do, and they had sex, like, and a couple guys had sex as well.
For me,
he pleaded guilty. I'm not going to say they paid them off, but what it sounds like is they paid them off.
But he said
he was guilty to less.
But there was no DNA in the thing.
For me, when it comes to paedophiles,
so
it's a case of, when did you get that sort of attraction for younger children?
That's an issue, yeah.
But it's interesting because Japanese culture, their whole culture is built around paedophilic sentiments. They love girls in school clothes.
Alright, cool.
Girls are always wearing school uniform. No one talks about it.
Looking like this year, from birth to, let's say, 7, 8, you don't really think about sexual interactions, you know, like that. Yeah. And then you reach, I don't know, secondary school and you start exploring yourself, do you know that? I don't think when you're in secondary school, you're looking at a child in primary school and think, oh yeah, that's my cup of tea. Do you know like that?
But I feel
so where do you hit that threshold?
But I feel like paedophilia is a mental illness though.
It is a mental illness.
And I feel like you should treat it as a mental illness and not... treat it as a crime. No, treat it as a crime, but also treat it in a sense of like, the person's clearly not well. Does that make sense?
There are documentaries about
where it's a stage of development.
There are documentaries of people. There's like a group of people in America, and it's called like Living with Paedophilia.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And it's like these men that are attracted to children. They don't want to be attracted to children. They can't help it. Like they don't ever want to abuse a child. So like there's like a community of them. They have like child dolls and stuff like that, and they hate the fact that they're paedophiles. Like they wish they
can't help it.
But they can't help it.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like you should. Like I know people are like, oh my god,
it's
like
physical attraction. It's like being gay, straight.
The thing is, people don't want to admit that. No, people don't want to admit that.
It's a mental illness.
But it's interesting because
to some people, homosexuality might be a mental illness.
Yeah, that's to some people.
Yeah. That's not for me, but to some people, it could be a mental illness. Do you know that? To the point you're getting sent to camps and whatnot. Do you get like that?
Right.
So. Is it a case where we put it under the umbrella of love is love?
I know that, but I think what we also need to understand is that these people are clearly not well. There has to be a sense of like compassion to some extent.
Do you mean if they performed the act?
If they haven't performed it, then give them help. Like, don't just
And
like,
what about
you know
if they
what I
have
mean? Like,
performed it?
No, but there was a
then
guy.
obviously go to prison.
But there was a guy on channel. There was a guy that came out and he said from as young as he could remember, he's loved kids. He said he tried to seek help. No one would help him. They all cast him away. He said he's never acted on it, but he's been trying to seek help. You're right in the sense of there should be some sort of compassion.
Yeah.
And if you see it as a mental illness, some people are scared you're excusing their behaviour.
I'm not excusing.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think you are. But I think with an educated lens, you can learn how to deal with it.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I don't.
But that's
think
my point. But
chucking
I feel like
in jail
in the
helps
terms
the
of like the whole Dutchy thing being accused as like a paedophile.
Why are you being so close with a young girl?
But he accused C-Biz now.
No, but what? Okay.
And
Again,
if you accused him, why didn't you accuse him earlier?
see, all
Why
of
didn't
this
you
is
speak
all
on him
problematic.
earlier?
But then what I will say.
Don't speak on him because you're in the limelight of being a paedophile.
I think it's
Fuck
scary.
But I don't. But honestly, I don't think he was a paedophile
Who?
in that situation.
Dutchavelli?
I really don't.
I don't even know what's happening.
But yeah, the voice notes are a bit.
Wait, voice notes.
Okay, you know what?
Like,
You know what?
it's actually him voice notes.
It's actually his voice.
Him voice notes it. You can't like.
What did he say?
Okay.
You cannot deny
What did he say?
Dutchavelli's
What
voice.
did he say?
I haven't.
One of them was like, "Oh, can we go to your yard?" Because obviously,
Oh,
I'm
no.
Okay,
Why are you saying that to a little girl?
I
Why?
said, obviously, my sister's here, so.
But that's a bit nice.
Come
Okay,
on, you're saying
okay,
my
you know what? All I
sister,
thought, all I
no,
thought it was like the messages that I saw, like just like how are you, but I didn't know there was voice notes. I don't know.
But I think cancel culture doesn't help anyone because it has this idea that we all have an objective sense of morality. Like, think about people want to cancel Churchill, people want to take down these statues for the things that they've said in the past. You know, you got Gandhi, who was once seen as a peaceful leader,
But
but
he's not
he
a
hated
racist.
blacks. He
Yeah.
hated black
Yeah, but
people.
he deserves
and
to
he
come
believed
down.
he believed in the caste system. At what point do you believe what was wrong yesterday is going to be right today?
That's the issue.
And that's my point.
That is the issue.
Morality, legality doesn't define morality, and I think what was right back then isn't right now.
No.
But there's not just a point.
No, but I'm talking.
What I was saying, but
I'm
I'm not respectfully. People use that argument to justify slavery and stuff
No,
like
no,
that.
no, no,
but
but
they do use that argument.
that's-
Well, and that was back in the day. Like, it's not obviously it's not right now, but they use that same example to excuse
Right,
like
but-
Holocaust, bare things.
but
like
just-
it was acceptable
Yeah, it was
then.
back in the day.
Like don't
That
say that
doesn't-
because
No.
it excuses people's behaviour.
No, but
don't it?
I'm not excusing their behaviour.
I know, but I'm saying that.
What I'm trying to get you to understand is what's wrong yesterday is not going to be right today.
I know
As
that.
we've evolved as a civilization, we've come to certain consensuses on what's right and what's wrong. What's wrong to us is paedophilia, what's wrong to us is slavery. The Arabs practice slavery still, and a lot of Africans are still
That's
enslaved.
And it's still
So,
practically
they, and,
as well.
and that's my
In the same
point.
breath.
Russians are still marrying child brides as young as 10
Legit.
or 11. But in the
Legit.
Western world, in the UK, we believe that's wrong in other countries.
So what you might see is wrong. Another
But that's
person
the
might see
thing.
is
But
right.
that's the thing. But I feel like cancel culture is problematic because everyone sees things differently.
Absolutely.
Like I see people like that. I feel like you've got a mental illness. Another person be like, no, he needs to die.
In the same breath, what's our views on R. Kelly then? Robert.
Oh, he guilty.
Wait, so R. Kelly's guilty, but is Michael Jackson guilty?
No, I don't think
There's
that's
no
fair.
proof on
There's no
Michael Jackson.
proof.
But Michael Jackson admitted to doing things, but what it is, I think with Michael
What
Jackson...
did he admit to do?
What, he admitted to sleeping in the bed with the
Yes.
kids?
Yeah, that doesn't
Wait,
mean
no,
it's
no,
not
no,
fair.
wait, hold on. Wait,
It's a bit too much.
If a man
It's too
slept
much.
in a bed with your daughter or your son, you're going to assume they've done something wrong.
But
Okay,
but
wait.
we can't
But
assume that.
But
So
isn't
I
it
watched.
weird?
I watched.
Like, a 40-year-old
But a grown man.
No, but he's not a grown man. That's the problem. And I watched the whole documentary. I read so much about it.
Yeah, he was mentally
No, but
well.
he wasn't a grown man. Mentally, he
He's
was
a child.
Yeah.
That's
So
my point. You can't get
grew
onto
up-
someone
he
like
grew up-
that.
But R. Kelly was abused as well
Yeah.
by his sis, by his auntie.
Yeah.
R. Kelly was
Women
abused.
is like-
Wait,
I
hold
have
on.
sympathy for R. Kelly
No,
because
but
I'm just
hold
like,
on. But the thing is, and then you've also got what's the other guy? Tyler Perry,
Tyler Perry.
who
but
was
he's never done
abused.
anything to anyone.
But he hasn't done anything. But everyone's got different.
But remember, everyone's different.
Everyone's got different positive and negative stimuli. Some people go on to abuse.
It's about
some
following the
people become
footsteps or
victims.
changing the footsteps.
So
innit?
if you can forgive Michael Jackson and know
You
he's
gotta
not
really
well,
and truly
why
forgive
can't you
him,
forgive
innit?
R. Kelly?
I
Because
think
Michael
about
Jackson
it.
didn't do anything.
He slept in the bed with
But that
kids.
doesn't
It doesn't mean they're doing
Yeah, but we
it.
don't actually know
mentally, he
what
was a
could
child.
have
They were
happened.
his friends.
And
Mentally,
even,
Of course,
even
he
so,
couldn't-
he
you're
couldn't
saying that
breathe
he's
there.
not
He
done
couldn't
anything,
breathe
but
there.
the
He
mental
wasn't-
damage that can do to a child
And that's
is
my
more
point.
permanent and more
That's my
long-lasting.
point.
Yeah, he's not physically done anything, but
Yeah, but
think
we
about
don't
that.
know. We weren't there, so how do we know the child wasn't? Oh,
Exactly.
exactly. Sleep in your bed. Like, how do we
You
know?
don't know. That's what I'm saying.
There's-
And
there's
also,
little-
and I'm
there's little
sorry, whether it's
interviews.
So this is the
Michael
definition of
Jackson
capital.
or not,
Why
my
not?
child is not sleeping at
Yeah,
grown man's
yeah.
Exactly.
house.
Thank you very
It's
much.
also
Parents'
his
fault.
fault. That's what I mean.
Wait,
It's
so it's just the parents' fault, not Michael Jackson.
No,
Yeah,
it's the parents' fault.
It's their
What,
fault
mainly?
as well.
Oh,
It is not.
I feel like
it's
it's
their
not
fault
right,
too.
then,
But remember, Michael Jackson was a world idol
I
at
know
the time.
business,
No,
I
but
don't
no, but
care.
please, that's easier said than done, though. That's very easier said than done.
Well,
Michael
he's
Jackson was.
Michael Jackson.
I wouldn't sleep with Michael Jackson, because my mum wouldn't let me do that anyway.
Exactly.
But
Your mum
no,
wouldn't let
but
you
no,
do
but
that.
that's the cultural difference,
No,
right?
but
Because
this-
no, wait, well, I'll give you an example. One of my
Michael
friends, it's a cultural difference. Some people think it's different. Like,
What, as a
fr-
kid? I don't know. I was a kid.
Wait, what?
You have to, I don't know what my mentality
I
was
was
as a
with
kid.
you.
Like I remember one of my friends, his little sister, young, sat on the end of my knee. His dad went mad. He said it wasn't okay, and I was like, I didn't think anything of it. It's a little girl sitting on my knee
Yeah.
in front of everyone. He said that's not okay. He was like straight away, that's not okay. And he pulled me aside and spoke to me, and I was like, what's wrong? He said he doesn't want to encourage that kind of behavior.
I feel that still.
Do you get what I mean? And after that, I was a bit like, oh, now I kind of get it with
Yeah.
some people. That's changed. Back in the day, my mum said times were different. You could leave the doors open, you could have strangers out, you could have people around, you didn't have to worry. Our time has changed.
Yeah.
We're no longer those kind of people. Michael Jackson got away with something because we believed he was mentally ill, but we don't extend that same compassion to R. Kelly.
I do.
But R. Kelly assaulted girls.
Of course he did. He
Yeah, but
sexually
it's not
assaulted
well,
But
girls.
look at
It's
Aaliyah,
all
she was
crazy
marrying
video
her when she was
He
like
did all
15.
sorts. R.
But
Kelly
you remember,
did
like,
all
no, okay,
sorts.
first of all, R. Kelly's illiterate. Like, he's not well.
Yeah.
Like, he's actually, I think he's got like legit.
Yeah, he's not.
learning
He's
disabilities,
not
like,
okay.
He's not
R. Kelly's
right.
not okay.
But I personally, I would extend all like grace to a lot of people that I know may seem problematic, but I just see it as like no one is the person that they are
Absolutely.
without like extra trauma that's happened. Like everyone is who they are right now because of what they've experienced.
Yeah.
You can't get mad at someone because they have issues without looking at the bigger picture,
That's
and that's what we all need to do. Like, yes, people are problematic. People might even kill someone, but you need to think, okay, what made you do that in the first place?
Are we
There's always a
justifying these
fact.
acts?
I'm not justifying
No,
it.
that's
I'm not
not
justifying
because
it.
you're
I'm
learning
not
to just
justifying
seek
it.
to
Still punish
understand.
them, still punish them, but
Still
you
punish when you
understand
understand
how
why
to punish
and
them.
how.
That's an
Like,
adequate
stick it,
punishment.
no, like in the sense, if it's something mental, you can't just
Yeah,
stick
you
a man
can't.
in
Yeah,
jail.
like it's
It
not.
doesn't
gonna
work.
work.
Man
Makes it
or
worse.
women, because there
Makes it
are
worse.
women paedophiles. Don't
Yeah,
get me
no one
wrong.
talks about
exactly.
that.
No, no, no.
It's
We need
not
But
beautiful.
we understand and accept the whole
Why?
concept of cougars.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
That's
Because it's a
true.
woman.
That's
Do you know
true.
that? Like the fact that a man is preying on a young child, girl or boy, is alarming. But when
Yeah.
it's a woman preying, we're like, ah,
Yeah.
Toy boy.
You know,
Well,
that's
it gets glorified in the media
No.
because you have like child slept with teacher. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're sick.
Can I also just ask as well, like, who would we say is glorifying this? Because men glorify this too. They love that. That's
Of
a thing
course,
for
but,
some
yeah,
people.
but that's because as men we're taught sex is conquest, it's something to be proud of.
And
Well,
then they
so you
were,
slept with an older woman, like you're something great.
No, it's just if
in the same breath, as you was growing up, you might have said older men are more mature than your own age
Yeah, that's a
group.
fact.
Do you know that?
And
like,
uncles, everyone knows an uncle. Everyone
That
knows
was-
men who prey on young girls out in the street in uniform. I've seen guys do
and
it.
if you're there for it, you're there for it.
Can I ask you a question? If they prey on someone, but they wait until they're 18, is it still bad?
That's grooming.
Well, what if they're talking to them?
No, so let's
if
say-
they're talking to them, that's grooming.
Yeah.
No,
that's-
no,
If they're
no,
not, if they're not
that's
engaging with
But
them,
the simple fact that
under
you're
the
saying-
legal definition, it's not grooming.
but that-
it's still fucked up.
You saw an attraction before they were even legal, innit? And for the simple fact that
It's
you
effectively
understand that they're
grooming.
not legal, you understand that it's wrong.
Yeah, you understand that it's
So
wrong.
leave it alone.
So
Leave it
guys,
alone.
in that same breath, are vigilantes a good thing, or should we be leaving it to the police? And specifically speaking about the Caden Nelson, where a lot of people came to his house.
Police are
That was
ineffective.
wrong. I'm sorry, that was
Police are
wrong.
ineffective.
Well, look
That's
like
what it
this.
is.
Look like this.
Police are ineffective.
Everyone in this room has the power to arrest someone on road.
What, citizens arrested
Yeah.
30 minutes?
Legit. Nonetheless, we still have the power.
30 minutes though, that's all we have.
Nonetheless, we still
After
have
that,
the
they
power.
can sue you.
Do you know like that? And that's exactly what they done in that sense. They went to his house to
No,
make
no, no,
sure-
no,
No,
no.
bro,
They
they
went to
beat
his
him up.
no. They
They
went
brought
to
it-
his
it was
mum's
mum's
house.
house.
That's so bad. Like the mum's got nothing to do
Why
with
wasn't
this,
he out
man.
with his mouth? Why
Don't
was
do that.
The guy's
No, that
tapped
was-
in the head as well. Kaden Nelson's
It's
not okay in the
well.
head.
Like, what you guys need to understand, like, of course, like, vigilantes, I can get it. They're like, oh, like, when roadman, we're trying to, like, protect the streets because the police are not doing it. But then when you're going to someone's yard who's a mother...
Vigilantes...
Where do you draw the line?
But vigilantes...
So would it be better if he lived by
I
himself?
just feel like they're basically just like angry people.
They
that
are
just
angry.
wanna-
Exactly.
Just, that
They
just
don't
want
care.
Would it be better if he lived by himself?
I don't think
If you live by yourself,
No,
But where was that same energy for Prince Andrew?
And that's but that's the monarchy. How can you attack the monarchy?
You can't.
We can't attack the
You can't
monarchy.
attack the monarchy.
The thing is with Kaden Nelson, people
He's
care.
a-
So we're bystanders.
Nonetheless, yeah,
Technically-
don't get it wrong. Everyone that's a fan gives the power that be.
Absolutely.
To a celeb, monarch,
Absolutely.
anyone that be. Do you know like that? So we can't sit here and say, oh, we don't have the power. We do.
Well, do you remember
the Kardashians got gas because we gave them the power to be back gas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you know like that? Prince Andrew's untouched because we give him the power to be
But I
untouched.
don't think we do give him the power, but like everyone's against the whole situation.
Ah,
No
nah,
one
man.
cares
For the
about
simple
Prince
fact,
Andrew.
yeah, that we endorse the royal family, yeah,
I don't endorse them.
we do as a nation.
But I don't think that's
As a
the
nation.
case so much anymore because I mean they are having to like obviously do different things like go on YouTube and stuff to still keep the interest. Like our generation and younger, they don't care about the
No one
royal
cares.
family.
I feel like some
So
do
I just
still.
feel like they're getting away with it.
I
just
feel like
because
some
they are
do
the
still.
royal
I
family.
feel like some still.
Yeah,
still.
maybe just
Like-
the young people we
like,
know. But
listen-
imagine those really patriotic young
Legit,
people,
legit.
or those very, upper class people
Legit.
that, I know
I've seen
people
tweets from,
that love something.
yeah,
I've seen
but
tweets
it's
from
at the
people
same
that went
time-
to my school,
it's
yeah,
different.
It's not to say
that
they
was
don't
saying, yeah, like,
exist.
fuck Meghan, like, and all that shit, like, she should be more
I don't-
appreciative.
to be honest,
of that.
I don't
Do you know that?
think-
And you're thinking like, bro, I went to school with you, and that's what you're thinking. Do you know that? So I don't.
Yeah,
I do
particularly
think,
with that, with
It
the
is
whole
our generation as well.
interview and stuff. Yeah, a lot of people from our generation actually spoke up about this.
And I
So-
remember exactly when it happened to Lee Rigby as well. I saw it as well. You know, you present a situation and you see a person's true colours. Age doesn't discriminate in that sense.
Guys, and lastly, are people locking up their voices to fit
Absolutely.
into or comply with society? Also, we're talking about
100%.
Wiley, anti-Semitic for saying, Jewish people run the industry, Noel Clark and having over 20 allegations of sexual harassment, etc.
I think Noel Clark is different though to
It is.
Wiley.
Well, let's talk about Wiley's situation.
There was a great documentary on Channel 4 by Trevor Phillips who said things we can't say about race but that are true. People should watch that documentary, and for example, there's certain pockets in the UK where Chinese run drugs, Turkish run drugs,
And it's okay.
Colombians run drugs, but we can't speak about that because of the over-policing of language. It's seen as racist, bigoted, all sorts. We can't speak about it. We're not allowed to speak about it. Has anyone ever been to like a sexual health clinic and they ask you, have you been with someone from Africa? You ask why.
True.
The fact you're allowed to ask that question but you can't have certain other conversations tells you a lot about over-policing of our language. People's voices are being locked up. If you stop people from talking, you render them to the underground. You make it dissent. And I'm not sure if you ever heard the term, shut down people's voice and you're going to make people realise what they have to say is actually more powerful. That's why you shut it down.
Yeah.
Look at this. If you talk about the LGBTQ
Oh, you're cancelled.
community, yeah,
Like that.
that's worse than talking about
I thought-
racism.
It is. Do you know what I'm
Like
going to say?
that.
It's going to be
And
very problematic.
to the point, I'm
Oh.
sorry, but your
Just look at
sexuality is not something that you necessarily have to present to a person. Colour is something that's there
Always
every
gonna be
single
there.
But what
day.
about black gays?
I feel so
Legit,
bad.
They
That's
feel
a lot.
segregated
Legit,
from the
there's
LGBTQ
There's nothing
community as
wrong
a
with you
whole.
being a black gay, white gay, Asian gay,
Yeah.
But
They feel
it's
those-
again something that you practice in the bedroom. It's not necessarily behaviour that you need to show outside. Not to say you can't be who you are, but it's something that you lay down. You're laying down with a person at the end of the day. It shouldn't be something that necessarily changes your behaviour once you leave the house. If you have sex with your opposite sex now, you're not necessarily going to show that you're a heterosexual woman when you go outside. You can step outside now, no one will know that you're a lesbian or straight.
That's so true.
Looking at that,
It depends.
how so?
Some
People
people,
make
some
assumptions.
people
Yeah.
make assumptions.
How so? The way you're dressed?
Yeah, people would
So
assume,
again,
oh, he
that's
dresses
in
gay.
your
He sounds
mannerisms.
gay.
So again, that's in your mannerisms.
It's
You know, like that.
stupid, but they
But at the
do.
same time, most people assume I'm gay because I fucking paint my nails and have
Yeah, that's
pink hair.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you free?
No.
That's how you fruit.
But I
No,
mean,
I'm just
but
asking.
yeah, no, but actually what I do
I'm
agree
just saying, I
with
think
you.
People
you're
make that
fruity,
stereotype.
but I'm
Yeah.
asking.
But I agree with you, like Joel. I would say like the two most like problematic, not really problematic. I take that back. The two most protected people or groups in society that no one can even utter a word about is Jewish people and the LGBT community. Period. It's a film like if you say anything about the Jewish community, even like down to what's happening. Let me speak. Hold on.
No, I was going to say you also forgot about Islam. You can't speak about it.
No. I feel like you can. You can speak about Islam more than you can speak about Judaism.
Yeah, Islam gets sorted.
Islamophobia is
you can.
No, but I'm talking about when people do have conversations, it's rendered as Islamophobic straight off the bat.
No,
same way.
I don't think so. In the same breath, yeah. When the a few years ago, when we was doing when the shops were doing hoodies, yeah, you wouldn't see a face, but you would present more or less a black person in a hoodie to be more of a threat than a white man in a hoodie. Do you know like that? So you can talk about Muslims being more terrorists, but you won't ever talk about what Jewish people are. Probably
exactly.
Do you know that? So again,
look at Palestine right now. Look at Palestine right now.
I don't know.
Okay, what's going on with Palestine right is basically it's got nothing to do with religion or anything like that anyway. But like you even just saying free Palestine automatically. Oh my God, you're anti-Semitic. No, I never said that Jewish people need to die or anything like that. Yeah. I'm just saying what the Israeli people are doing to the Palestinian people is wrong. But now is what's it called anti-Semitic for saying that I want a human race to be treated equal. Do you know how problematic that you can't say not even one thing when they're actually doing something wrong? That's dangerous. So I see where like Wiley was saying about the power structure, because it is dangerous that even when you're trying to point out the things that they're doing wrong, you're automatically an anti-Semitic.
I think
that is problematic. You can't correct people when they're wrong now. Do you know how bad that is?
If Wiley put facts on it would be a very different conversation.
But even if you put facts, you're still going to be seen as anti-Semitic.
No, of course, and I agree with you.
But that's my point. Like, if you say anything about like, listen, the trans community, like, I personally will not. Let's say, I don't know. If I say, if my son wanted to be a girl or had thoughts of it, I would encourage it. I'm now automatically transphobic because me as a parent that gave birth to my pitney is not allowed to say, oh, do you know what? I would prefer for my child to explore that as
your child's choice.
No. Let me finish. Let me finish. Me as a parent, I'm sorry. I made you and I gave birth to you. Let me finish. I made you and I gave birth to you. If you want to change your sex, cool. But you do it at an age when you are an adult. As long as you are in my house, it's not happening.
What it is?
Wait, just before that. Can I find out what Shanice feels having another child as well?
To be honest, I just love my child, like, no matter what. But if he said he wanted to change his sex, I would have some real conversations, to be honest. And I'd ask why. I'd want to know, like, the mindset, like, what's going on, like, why. I would really want to know why. But
I feel like sometimes we forget that kids go through that. I see my son puts my heels on and dresses up like a girl, and he has days where he's like, I actually just want to be a girl, but I don't take it seriously. Like, oh my God, I need to change him. I'm not gonna overly do it.
What you're saying is you would suppress your child's feelings of them being uncomfortable with their own gender because of how you feel.
No, I'm saying
that is exactly what you said.
I'm not saying that.
Hold on, wait.
What she said was under her roof.
That is suppression.
Let me try what I'm saying. Like, as a child, right, you go through things of different thoughts and feelings.
So what about
but look, I'm just saying, like, let's say tomorrow you're like, actually I want to be a girl, and you really feel this for the next 3, 5, 6 months, and then you change your mind. You're still a child. You might be like, you know what, I actually don't want to be a girl, but I just like dressing up. Does that make sense? Why am I going to give my child drugs to change their gender?
No. Wait. But the thing is, I've noticed every time you extend the point to try and validate what you're saying.
It's not extended.
I never said anything
about you've constantly gone to another step.
Because hormone therapy, that's a lot more of a complicated issue.
That's life changing.
100%.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Is
but
that
no one said that.
But my point is, me saying as a mother that if my child wants to like do like hormone therapy or whatever, and I'm not going to allow that until they're at least 16, I now see as transphobic.
No one said that.
But that was my point.
No, the thing is, you keep extending the point. What I was going to refer to is your mentality is kind of like that old school mentality. If you're under my roof, what I say goes. And how you feel is not relevant if I don't really agree with it. I'm not telling you to change your child's sex or tell them to take hormone. I wouldn't do the same myself. I wouldn't, right? Yeah. I absolutely agree with you. But there's some children out there who genuinely believe they are of another sex or of another gender. How would you negotiate that if they're, for example, 10? At what age? At what age?
25.
At what age do you determine when
You
it's
see me,
like
like, I feel
16?
like once they hit that 14 and you still feel that way, then we can explore it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But anything under 14, I'm sorry, like,
But why is
you
14?
can dress up in the house if you want.
Why is 14
But why in
the
the
age?
house? Why can't they go out being a girl?
No.
But why though? Well, he's asking you why. Why not?
Because it's a lot for a child to like.
No, it's a lot for you.
No, it's got nothing to do with
It is a
me.
lot
It's
for
got-
you.
Wait, so if,
No, wait a
if her
second.
son was going out dressed up as a girl, you think other kids could
Oh, no, no, no,
Yes,
that's
it's
what
your
I'm trying to say.
you
Like,
know
it's
kids are
not
nasty.
bad.
You
I
know.
know, but obviously, like
It's
you're
all
saying, that it's
right.
just hard for her. Yeah, it may
She
be
has
hard
a
for
parent
her.
as well.
But
If
I'm
with a
not
child,
sure she's gonna
she
worry.
didn't expect
Especially,
that.
I don't know, like obviously what your area's like, right?
But it's only so
obviously,
long as a
in
mother
my
you can
area,
worry.
they're not going to really get beaten up much. Like maybe, but not really. In London, like I can't imagine like being a black
London,
boy
though.
going out.
London.
And a dress, and now
No,
you're saying your name is Susie.
I went-
Everyone's
I-
just saying that. What?
But the thing is,
What?
I went to Goldsmiths, and Goldsmiths is full of people like that. Very liberal, very open-minded.
And that's a
Like, for
beautiful
ex-
thing. That's
it's a beautiful
like.
thing, but I think sometimes as a parent, you're pushing your own worries and anxieties onto a child. I know you want to protect your child, but you have equipped your child all those years coming up to it to be themselves and not to worry about other people.
I just see it as like there's so many statistics with people like changing their minds and stuff like that. That I rather you just do it when you're like an adult and you've been feeling this way for like years. It's not like it's a month. You've changed your mind. If it's been like years and you've been telling me and you've been like dressing up in the house, you've even spoken to family, then cool. But me personally, I'm not going to push that agenda and like because of like society, like oh my god, you have to now get them to this. Like no, and I don't want to be judged as a parent for saying, do you know what? I don't want to do that for my child, and I've been called transphobic because I don't want to put my child through that when I feel that they're not ready.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like.